At one particular time, I did talk about. I did say Terence Crawford.
You beat a nobody, so why would I even waste my time on?
Know exactly what he was feeling and thinking. It's called frustration. You know, when you're facing a Floyd, he got frustrated.
One Floyd Mayweather Jr. has reignited tensions with Terence Crawford after dropping their training footage online. Mayweather clarified that his intent was simply to show himself sharing the ring with another great fighter, not to spark controversy. However, he also pushed back on the narrative that he's jealous of Crawford's success, with Crawford publicly claiming in several interviews that he could knock Floyd out. Mayweather feels the younger star may be getting ahead of himself after just one big win, a victory. Floyd insists would have been easy work for him in his prime.
A lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And
Mayweather emphasized that while he respects everything Crawford has achieved, he doesn't see it as putting them on equal footing, particularly in terms of legacy and career milestones. In his view, one big win isn't enough to diminish the accomplishments of others. He explained that releasing the sparring footage wasn't meant to embarrass Crawford or overshadow his success. It was simply a reminder that he still possesses the skills that carried him to an undefeated career. Yet online, the clip has taken on a life of its own, with many fans interpreting it as proof that Floyd was operating on a different level than Bud.
Hard is working, and the only other guy that I've seen that worked as much as Crawford was Floyd Mayweather. So not only is he talented, but he works like he got $2 in his bank account. He works like he ain't never accomplished anything in his life.
Meanwhile, remains steadfast in his self-belief after defeating Canelo. He's repeatedly stated that not only could he beat Mayweather now, but even a prime Floyd would struggle against him. That claim hasn't sat well with Mayweather, who bristles at the notion that Crawford belongs in the same league. Floyd counters by pointing to his flawless 50-0 record and his victories over the biggest names of his era: Manny Pacquiao, Oscar de la Hoya, Canelo Alvarez, Shane Mosley, and Miguel Cotto. While acknowledging Crawford's immense talent and historic achievement as the first man to become undisputed in 3 divisions, Mayweather maintains that resumes and longevity still matter more than a single breakthrough win.
what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways.
Bernard Hopkins has now weighed in on the debate, offering a more balanced perspective. Speaking to ESPN, Hopkins said he doesn't see the point in constantly comparing Crawford to Mayweather. In his view, each fighter ruled his own era, and both deserve respect on their own terms. Hopkins emphasized that Crawford has proven he's the best of his generation, while Mayweather already cemented his place in history. Comparing them, he argued, risks undermining one man's accomplishments to glorify the other. Instead, fans should recognize that eras in boxing exist for a reason and allow each champion to shine. Hopkins concluded by saying Crawford is at his peak right now, and rather than diminishing that moment, people should let him enjoy it just as Mayweather enjoyed
Crawford. Believe Crawford, even though, fought twice, throughout the year, Crawford, was... But look who he beat. Undisputed. Look who he beat. Look who he beat.
I agree with that take. It's really just about respecting what's happening now. Comparing Crawford to Mayweather isn't fair to either fighter because it drags the focus away from the present moment. Crawford has clearly stamped himself as the best of his era, just as Mayweather did in his own. Trying to pit them against each other across generations feels more like reaching than real analysis. Just like weight classes exist for a reason, eras exist for a reason too. Mayweather had his time and cemented his greatness. Now it's Crawford's turn to have his moment.
Manny Pacquiao, top 5. You should know that reason. Manny's a generational, talented fighter, but I don't feel like he did it on his own. When Floyd made it a point for him to do the blood test, he didn't want to do the blood test. But then when he did do the blood test, he haven't got a knockout since.
Godly, man, that breaks my heart.
He was aging, though.
One thing for certain, 2 things for sure. What's the last thing that leave you is the power. You may lose speed, you may lose athleticism, but that power gonna still be.
Hopkins' remarks echo similar praise from other figures in boxing, like Shane Mosley, who recently argued that Crawford deserves to be ranked pound for pound #1 ahead of Mayweather. Not everyone agrees though. Many analysts counter that Floyd's era featured a far deeper pool of talent and that he fought elite names across multiple weight divisions while staying undefeated for 2 decades. Even so, Crawford's resume, becoming undisputed at 140, 147, and now 168 pounds, is unprecedented, and the way he's dominated those fights has made him look almost untouchable. At this point, the debate has become one of those timeless arguments with no definitive answer, largely because each fighter belongs to a completely different era.
It's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather.
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fighter.
Outside of the Crawford versus Mayweather debate, another major storyline gaining traction is the rumored return of Mike Tyson and what it could signal for both Floyd and Crawford. At 59, Tyson is once again being linked to stepping back into the ring, prompting serious concern from medical professionals. Nathan Howarth of the Concussion Legacy Foundation, speaking with Between, warned about the heightened risks of fighting at such an advanced age. He explained that chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, has been documented in boxing since the 1930s, and that older fighters are especially vulnerable. According to Howarth, repeated blows land harder on aging brains, increasing the chances of long-term damage. While Tyson continues to train intensively, the health risks remain significant. Howarth even pointed to Floyd Mayweather, now approaching 50, as another example of a fighter who could face similar dangers if he continues sparring or stepping into the ring.
Back at like Floyd career, like him coming up in the era that he came up in, he had all them champions that he was able to fight, and that's what led him to be so great. You know, because he fought the most champions, beat the most champions, you know, got the most money for beating the most champions.
These warnings underscore a larger issue facing boxing today: the trend of aging fighters, returning for exhibitions or full-on bouts. Tyson may be a global icon, but decades of accumulated damage don't simply disappear, and medical experts fear even one more hard fight could have devastating consequences. Mayweather, for his part, has limited himself to exhibitions against YouTubers and MMA fighters rather than top-level boxers, which is comparatively safer but still not risk-free. If a rumored Floyd versus Tyson fight were to be canceled, speculation could turn to someone like Crawford stepping in. Yet Roy Jones Jr. has been clear on his stance. After such a monumental victory over Canelo, Crawford has already cemented his legacy, and if he wants, has earned the right to step away on top.
The GOAT debate get destroyed in real time and a new one be born. Canelo was supposed to come in here and dominate Crawford to show us that he really is the GOAT, someone that belongs on the Mount Rushmore. But Crawford came in and made it look like it was no problem to handle him. Crawford was bobbing and weaving and landed 10-hit combos. I'm watching the fight and Crawford is talking to him, he's laughing in the ring, he's shaking his head, nope.
But Jones also added that if Crawford chooses to fight again, there's one name he should consider. Speaking with Titan Play, he floated UFC champion Ilia Topuria as a potential crossover opponent. While it's unusual for a boxing legend to recommend an MMA fighter, Jones framed it as a reward bout, something huge and attention-grabbing to cap Crawford's career. He explained that Crawford spent years waiting for the spotlight he now enjoys, and with that long overdue recognition finally here, he deserves one last blockbuster fight before walking away.
Boxer, in your opinion, right now?
European?
No, world. Best fighter in the world, yeah.
I think it's Terence Crawford.
Many believe it's you. Many believe you're the best fighter.
No, I'm not the best fighter of the world. It's Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford, number one, yeah?
Jones also tied the advice to his own career, admitting that had he stepped away after his biggest victories, the discussions about his legacy would look very different today. He urged Crawford not to make the same mistake, secure one last defining fight, then leave on his own terms rather than overstaying. At 37, Crawford hasn't announced his next move yet, but even he must recognize that the finish line of his career is drawing near.
Don't beat Mayweather. I know, bro, and like even Mayweather undefeated though. He's never been undisputed.
After defeating Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world, is Terence "Bud" Crawford now the GOAT?
Right. You feel me? Right. And if this man can win undisputed for the third time, bro, I'm giving him the GOAT. I don't care who you is.
In the 4-belt era?
Oscar De La Hoya also weighed in with his own take. Speaking to the Daily Mail, he was asked who could beat Crawford at his peak and answered without hesitation that Manny Pacquiao would knock him out. De La Hoya argued that in his prime years, Pacquiao was simply too fast, too strong, and too explosive for Crawford to handle. Pacquiao reigned as the best fighter in the world for a long stretch, capturing titles in 8 different weight divisions and defeating elite opponents across multiple eras. In De La Hoya's view, a prime Pacquiao versus Crawford wouldn't have gone to the scorecards. It would have ended in a stoppage.
I have to disagree because Floyd Mayweather toyed with Canelo. Like, he literally toyed with him. He didn't get hit at all. Not one time. And Crawford, yeah, he's more of a fighter, boxer. Mayweather's more of a boxer. But I have...
This opinion adds yet another layer to the debate because Pacquiao, like Mayweather, came from an era stacked with elite names. He battled and beat stars such as Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto, and Ricky Hatton, with his clashes against Mayweather and Marquez still standing as defining moments of the 2000s. While Crawford has toppled top names in his own time, De La Hoya's argument is that Pacquiao's level of opposition and explosive style would simply have been too much. Whether we'll actually see Crawford versus Mayweather remains uncertain, but the conversation around it keeps growing louder.